Hello and welcome. This was posted by Steve Cooper from 7 News yesterday during Karen Reed's hearing. And it's Karen Reed's response to a few news media outlets saying that the federal investigation into John O'Keefe's death was closed. So apparently it's all bullshit. So let's hear what Karen Reed has to say.
Karen, how are you feeling this morning?
I feel great.
Are you encouraged or discouraged by the decision by the feds that they're not continuing to investigate?
I don't know that I believe that.
You don't believe it?
No, I do not. I have good reason not to.
You do not believe that? That's
Yeah.
good
Good luck,
information.
Karen. From the horse's mouth.
Thanks, Karen. Have a good day.
Thanks, Scoop. You too.
Karen, how are you feeling this morning?
I feel great.
Are you encouraged?
So, from the horse's mouth, Karen Reed said, the federal investigation is not over. So, I think there's speculation online that somebody got to Ted Daniels, and it's conveniently around the same time that Ted Daniels is publishing an hour-long interview with Karen Reed that goes viral, and then another interview with Karen Reed that goes viral, with Karen Reed driving around Boston with him. So it's yeah. And if you guys don't know, if I'm not making sense, on Monday, just 2 days ago, today is Wednesday the 26th, so on the 24th of February, Ted Daniels said that he heard from 2 sources that the federal investigation into John O'Keefe's death closed. It was closed. But I distinctly remember just a couple weeks ago that there was a Boston News Network interviewing a couple of people from that investigation, and those people said that they could neither confirm nor deny the status of the investigation, the federal investigation. So that was just a couple weeks ago, guys. And so 2 days ago, Ted Daniels, some suspicious sources reached out to Ted Daniels, and Ted Daniels told the world that the federal investigation into John O'Keefe's death had closed. So this is Karen Reed just yesterday on the 25th, clarifying that from the horse's mouth, the federal investigation into John O'Keefe's death is not closed. So guys, there's a media war here in Massachusetts, and it's clear that the Hank Brennan, the Commonwealth prosecution, and specifically Hank Brennan, who's ruthless in his corruption, who is ruthless with his lies and mischaracterizations and misrepresentations, Hank Brennan likely has a role in it, But, shame on Ted Daniels. He published that interview with Karen Reed and, a couple interviews with Karen Reed within the last week. And shortly after his interview with Karen Reed, which was actually excellent, I provided a commentary video about it because it was like maybe the only interview with Karen Reed where it wasn't biased or she wasn't asked nefarious questions. It was just about the facts. And there was no attempt to mischaracterize the events or mischaracterize her as a human being. So I thought the interview with Ted Daniels was excellent, but, it's like, it's casting a shadow over it when the same guy who interviewed her in an excellent interview is just a few days later, again, last Monday, 2 days ago, alleging that the federal investigation is closed based on 2 sources he obtained. So anyway, those interviews are still great, but let's see what Aidan Kearney had to say yesterday during the hearing.
They have an inconvenient truth that the science and the physics says that John O'Keefe was not hit by a motor vehicle, which means Karen Reed didn't kill him, which means someone else did. And that's the uncomfortable reality that they don't want to face, that they don't want to hear. And they know that no jury will ever convict Karen Reed as long as they hear these experts say that. They know that. And the only way that they can try to lynch this woman, because that's what this is been a state-sponsored lynching since the beginning. The only way they can lynch this woman is by preventing brilliant doctors from speaking about the science. That's what this is about. And they're trying to, kind of cause confusion, and Spanky's out here talking about emails on this date and this date, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. None of that has anything to do with anything. They just don't want those guys to speak because they're going to say the inconvenient truth that John O'Keefe was not hit by a vehicle. Was not hit by a vehicle. They don't want him to talk. That's low. Who tries to keep out evidence of the murder trial? Who doesn't want to hear that? What do you want? If there's nothing to hide, why not just let these guys speak? Okay, it's like I don't want to offend them.
An excellent speech by Aidan Kearney. Yes, and he's absolutely correct. It's all a distraction, It's the episode we witnessed from Hank Brennan and Judge Bev last Tuesday was most certainly a distraction. It was theater, and a display of just how low they're willing to go, Beverly Cannoni included. Beverly was so overly dramatic last Tuesday, alleging that, she had grave concerns and that the results could impact the defense and the counsel. But lo and behold, yesterday during court, it was like, womp womp again. Like, how many times has that happened in the Karen Reed case where the prosecution or Judge Bev are being overly dramatic and spewing lies, and then all it takes is the defense to counter their lies with the truth. It's happened countless times. We've never seen that reaction from Judge Bev like the one we saw last Tuesday, over a week ago. But I agree with a lot of people who say that reaction was Judge Bev getting excited at the idea of being able to eliminate Alan Jackson from the defense team, and also potentially eliminate the ARCA experts all in one, two birds in one stone. That seems to be what Hank Brennan's strategy was, and it seems to be what Judge Bev was supporting. And during the hearing yesterday, it was so clear that Judge Bev played defense for the prosecution. Despite Robert Alessi's numerous attempts to clarify the record, Judge Bev still managed to get in there through her mic, which was rather loud yesterday. She was able to get in there questions or statements that seemed to defend the actions of the prosecution of Hank Brennan last week. And to me, Hank Brennan's actions last week are inexcusable. There's no excuse for it. He is disgusting as an attorney. The way he leads with lies, leading Lally was a thing in 2024. And I think leading Brennan needs to be a thing. Only that leading Brennan pertains to his lies. He leads with lies. He gets the audience, the courtroom, and the world watching, and Judge Bev, he gets them hooked immediately on lies. And then he forces the defense team to defend themselves and to defend their credibility and to defend their integrity. It's a waste of time back and forth with Brennan's bullshit. Okay, so here's a post from Aidan Kearney, and it reads, Helena Rafferty showed up to court today with Paul O'Keefe and Peggy O'Keefe. She left 30 minutes later, and we had a stare down on her way out of court. Aaron O'Keefe is not here today. Can't imagine why. And if you guys aren't aware, the story came out a week ago about Paul O'Keefe who is John O'Keefe's brother. Paul O'Keefe apparently was messaging someone on social media and exchanged shirtless photos of himself with this woman. And Paul O'Keefe apparently told her that he that he wanted to glaze her like a donut, or he wanted to be glazed like a donut. So now it's a inside joke of Paul O'Keefe and donuts. But just look at these signs, guys. The one in the middle says, "This is a trial, not a dating app." And if you watched the hearing yesterday, you could clearly see that Paul O'Keefe was sitting by himself when usually Aaron O'Keefe is sitting next to him, his wife. Now, I'm not one to get into the drama when it comes to Paul O'Keefe. I have called him out numerous times in my videos. I've called him a fool, and I still think he's a fool. I think Paul O'Keefe is just not that bright. And when he speaks, he is speaking through his ignorance, you know? I kind of feel bad for him. He doesn't have the mental capacity to discern information, and that's why he got duped like everyone else got duped into this investigation, this non-investigation. So Paul O'Keefe is he's not bright, but he's now a big joke to the community, especially because he was cheating on his wife. So, you know, I don't feel sorry for him in that respect. You know, you reap what you sow, but I feel bad for him that he's just not that smart, and therefore he's going to be the butt of a lot of jokes. All right, I will be sharing some comments, some reactions from the Free Karen Reed community regarding yesterday's hearing, which again, Robert Alessi, he killed it. He kicked ass, much like Elizabeth Little kicked ass last week. So this comment reads, "Another day in the, quote, fake it till you make it in Commonwealth case, end quote. Rumor is Ted Daniel got spanked for airing the interview with Karen Reed. Then the trolls put out fake news to him that all the locals jumped on, just to make their hero Brennan look good." Excellent comment. And I realize I say the word excellent a lot. It's probably my favorite word. When I see validating comments, validating arguments, whether it be from the supporters or the defense team, my go-to word is excellent. It's just like, good job, guys, pushing against the corruption, you know, excellent. And just like in my last video about the community's reactions last week, I will not be showing any names to respect their privacy. Again, these comments are being posted in a group, and the group is visible to only the members within the group. So out of respect for those members, I have blurred their names, their screen names. This one reads, "Watching from England, so sad for Karen and hoping she gets free from this freak show soon." I agree, and it certainly is a circus. It's a freak show. This one reads, "Oh look, Bev is pretending to be concerned with Karen's rights to a fair trial. Good job." And the response here reads, "Auntie Bev should not be the judge. Again, totally biased." I agree. And during the hearing yesterday, it was clear that Judge Bev was attempting to cover her ass, attempting to cover her reaction from last week. How, again, she seemed like she was about ready to eliminate Alan Jackson last week, or eliminate the ARCA experts last week, only to then today or yesterday state during the hearing that she was looking out for Karen Reed's rights, or the defense's right. Like, it was just disingenuous based on how she's been this entire time. You know, Judge Bev, you know, we've been watching you for over a year. We've watched what you've done with this case for well over a year. And it's too late to come now and say you're concerned about a fair trial for Karen Read. Nobody believes you. This one reads, don't they have jobs to do? Now she's getting paid to go sit and watch a trial that her officers and friends botched on purpose on her watch. She doesn't have anything more important to do. I feel so bad for the good people of Canton. And great comment. This is in response to Helena Rafferty, the chief of police for Canton PD. Like Aiden said, and like many supporters witnessed yesterday, Helena Rafferty, the chief of police for Canton, walked in with Paul O'Keefe, like protecting the O'Keefes. The chief police of Canton walked in with Paul O'Keefe. And it's crazy that she did that the day Paul O'Keefe did not arrive with his wife, Erin. And it's the first appearance from Paul O'Keefe since he was exposed for cheating on his wife, Erin. So interesting that the Canton Police Department wants to show their allegiance like this, that the world watching this case does not trust the Canton Police Department whatsoever. So the chief of police is going to walk in with Paul O'Keefe, who has said over and over again that Karen Read did this. You guys connecting the dots? Like, this is the Canton PD still making a statement. This is the Canton PD saying, yeah, we didn't do an investigation. Yeah, we don't really care about the truth. And we're still going to protect Paul O'Keefe. Paul O'Keefe thinks Karen Read did this. We're going to protect him. Yeah. These are more comments about Helena Rafferty. This one reads, taxpayers' money is unlimited here. The next one reads, Rafferty shouldn't be in uniform, period. She's a disgrace. And yeah, so again, the chief of police, Helena Rafferty of Canton PD, showed up to court as a bodyguard for Paul O'Keefe. And as a representative of Canton PD. This one reads, she walked in with Paul O'Keefe and 4 other police officers in full dress uniform. And the one below it reads, probably so Paul doesn't kill Turtle Boy. Yeah. Anyway, and again, guys, this is still in response to Helena Rafferty showing up as a bodyguard for Paul O'Keefe. Someone commented, intimidation tactic, ? Someone else commented, so now they can wear uniforms. And that's in response to Judge Bev. Judge Bev apparently said that people who were members of law enforcement could not show up to court in their uniform if they were there to testify or there to sit in support, like in the audience. They had to wear regular clothing. But Helena Rafferty showed up yesterday with Paul O'Keefe, and she was in full uniform along with 4 other officers. And Judge Bev allowed it. This one reads, funny how she shows up now that they are saying the federal investigation is closed. The other comment reads, my guess is that's why she's here, for the announcement, if there is one. I initially thought she was security for Paul. And I still say she is security for Paul. She was security for Paul O'Keefe. She was there to make a statement on behalf of Canton PD and to fully stand behind Paul O'Keefe, who, again, had been recently exposed as being a cheater, an adulterer. So anyway, in this comment, my guess is that the announcement, and there was no announcement, neither the prosecution nor the defense yesterday said anything about the federal case being closed. And let's not confuse the federal investigation with Karen Reed's federal case with the writ of habeas corpus, which is still happening next Wednesday on the 5th. Karen Reed will be appearing at the district court. I believe it will be at the Boston District Federal Court for the writ of habeas corpus. So this is a different federal investigation, the one pertaining to John O'Keefe, the one in which the FBI had hired the ARCA experts. So again, guys, to me, Ted Daniels was targeted by more than likely the prosecution or Michael Morrissey's office. And Ted Daniels apparently didn't verify the source. The federal investigation is still active. And this is the post from Steve Cooper, who again is from 7 News. And Karen Reed seemed familiar with him because she referred to him as Coop. But it reads, breaking, Karen Reed heading into court moments ago told me she isn't so convinced reports the feds have closed their investigation and no law enforcement members are facing any charges in connection with the handling of the case. So again, I played that video for you previously. And I don't know why that video was so poor quality. It was so strange that the video was so blurry and foggy. It must have been the humidity. I don't know. But, Steve Cooper, this should really be Ted Daniels, Ted Daniels should be making a post apologizing and clarifying that his sources were incorrect. This one reads, let's hope Bev penalizes Hank for lying in court last week, but I won't get my hopes up. Great comment. And if you observed the hearing yesterday, Judge Beverly Cannoni did not reprimand Hank Brennan for his misrepresentation of facts. Surprising, right? So surprising. Continuing, this next comment reads, Alessi is smooth like butter. And he so is. Oh, man. He's great. You couldn't ask for a better attorney. I said it before a while ago in a past video. Robert Alessi is like the attorney. He's like the epitome of what a real attorney should be, like every attorney should aspire to be like him. He is objective. He is to the point. He's about the facts. And he's professional. He's professional in a manner that we don't see from the prosecution ever. This one reads, Alessi is knocking it out of the park, but as usual, Bev is so biased. And I saw a lot of comments about the hearing yesterday saying exactly this, that Alessi is rocking it, Alessi is a boss, but Judge Bev's bias couldn't be more clear. And all those comments were correct, 1000% correct. Bev's bias is so triggering, and it's so abusive. Like she has a level of bias that is so abusive at this point. It's so in your face. Like the defense are stepchildren, and the prosecution are her real children, It's as if Judge Bev comes from an old school era, likely because she was under Michael Morrissey's wing. This old school, dumb allegiance to authority. Like if you're a judge, you stand behind the police, you back the police. If you're a prosecutor, you back the police, and plenty of jurisdictions still use that MO, they're still old school like that. And that's exactly how Judge Bev behaves. She behaves like the prosecution is immediately correct. They are immediately correct. And it's up to the defense to disprove them when the exact opposite is true. This is the United States, and you are supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. not guilty until you're proven innocent. But Judge Bev absolutely handled this case and continues to handle this case as if the prosecution is correct and the burden is on the defense to disprove the prosecution's case. Okay, guys, that's exactly how Judge Bev has been. And it's unwavering, you know, despite her bullshit speech yesterday that she wanted to make sure Karen Reed had a fair trial. She wanted to make sure there was transparency. It was such bullshit. She is backing the prosecution. She thinks Karen Reed is guilty. Or maybe she doesn't think Karen Reed is guilty. Maybe she knows what really happened because Michael Morrissey told her, you know? The fact is, whatever she knows, whatever she believes, she is showing her true colors in every decision she makes. You know, she's not fooling anybody. And just like I said, Hank Brennan, you know, Hank Brennan's going to have to look out for himself when this is all over because everybody in public is going to know what he looks like. And it's the same for Judge Beverly Cannoni. You don't get to fuck over people's lives and then live your life as if nothing happened. You will reap what you sow. This is another great comment from DJI9424. This was actually posted on one of my videos, I believe, or maybe it was a post, but it reads, the two anonymous sources that Ted Daniel reported are likely working with Hank Brennan to discredit the federal investigation. That is Hank's primary mission, to so thoroughly and publicly disparage them so that they cannot bring charges against DA Morrissey. In defense of Morrissey, Judge Bev has given Hank the green light to spin his lies and never be held accountable for his nonstop gaslighting. It will be very interesting to see what Judge Bev does in the hearing today. Will she punish the offending party, Hank, or will she direct her venom towards the defense? I can only hope that her actions are so blatantly obvious that even the densest person watching will understand the corruption at play in the Karen Reed prosecution. Great comment from DJI9424. And as anyone who watched the hearing knows, Judge Bev, again, she did not scold Hank Brennan. She did not reprimand him. She did not provide any corrective action toward Hank Brennan, despite his absolute, intentional, deliberate, and strategic mischaracterization of those email correspondences between Dr. Wolf and Alan Jackson. This comment reads, Brennan, modus operandi. If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Good job. So this comment pertains to the to the Paul O'Keefe inside joke, and it reads, because people kept posting pictures of glazed donuts. Oh, man. All right. So it reads, what is the story behind the glazed donut reference? This one responded, you don't want to know. Ask Paul O'Keefe. He's revolting. Next one, LOL, Paul O'Keefe messaged a woman he's never met saying something about glazed donuts, meaning sexually. This one reads, Paul told the other woman that they wouldn't get out of bed all day long and that she would be his breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He'd be a glazed donut. Apparently that's his sexy talk. Okay, yeah, and guys, Aiden Kearney, Turtle Boy, made a post about it in on his website, TB Investigates. And I considered talking about it, but I decided there were other more important things to talk about pertaining to the case, like the federal writ of habeas corpus that Karen Reed will be appearing for next Wednesday. So I won't be talking about that post from Aiden, but to me, it's still important information because it shows Paul O'Keefe's character. It most absolutely does. He's not that bright, you know? I don't know what he was thinking sending some woman online a picture of himself shirtless in the middle of this ordeal, you know? Again, you reap what you sow. I do not feel sorry for Paul O'Keefe for being slimy. I feel bad for him that he's just not smart. A lot of folks commented about Alessi yesterday. Like I was saying, he was so impressive. I was so impressed by him. It's a relief. It is validating. It's therapeutic to listen to Robert Alessi completely dispel the misinformation, the deliberate lies that Hank Brennan spewed last week. It is so healing to listen to these attorneys like Elizabeth Little and Robert Alessi take what Hank Brennan is saying and completely distill it down to the truth that Hank Brennan is so desperately trying to hide. He is so desperately trying to obfuscate and manipulate and twist in the prosecution's favor. This post reads, Alessi is da bomb, and he is. This other one reads, what does Alessi mean? Helper, defender, protector. Accurate. And this next one reads, Alessi, this is a good one. It reads, Alessi is about to face charges of first-degree murder of Brennan and Bev. Because Alessi is so good, you know. So, what do people do in Norfolk County with people who are good, with truth sayers, you know, with truth speakers? They frame them for crimes, you know. Karen Reed was framed, and yeah, Alessi has such integrity that that they would frame someone like Alessi because he speaks too much truth. Great post. This is a photo taken of someone's sign they brought to the hearing yesterday. Bev bias is showing feds not a car strike. Great sign. This sign is showing a solo cup and it reads, this is okay. Inverted video, okay. Metadata to clear Karen Reed denied. Great points here. And I was thinking that today, like Judge Bev really doesn't care about the lack of chain of custody. She doesn't care about the leaf blower or the snow blower. She doesn't care about the solo cups. She doesn't care about the missing video, the inverted video, the deleted video. She doesn't care about the conflict of interests. She doesn't care that Michael Proctor was attending parties at 34 Fairview. She doesn't care that Jennifer McCabe and Nicole Albert are sisters, and Jennifer McCabe was protecting her sister. You know, Judge Bev has looked the other way for so many things, but the metadata is an issue for Judge Bev. The truth is an issue for Judge Bev. Lies and obfuscation and gaslighting, all that stuff's totally cool for Judge Bev. But the truth, the truth is a problem for Judge Bev. I thought this was a cool post. It reads, if you're in Dedham, the restaurant El Contro is showing the hearing with sound and has $3 tacos. So I thought that was pretty cool that there are establishments featuring the hearing, or there were establishments featuring the hearing yesterday. It's great. More people need to hear about this case, you know, and I hope more establishments do this. Like if you're truly about liberties, if you're truly about constitutional rights, you might want to pay attention to the Karen Reed case, and you might want to broadcast it from your establishment if you've got TVs, you know? Like this isn't just going to impact Karen Reed. This is going to impact everyone else in the state of Massachusetts. You know, if they get away with this cover up, you have to look at it as a violation of your rights as well, because it's only a matter of time before you or someone you know is violated and victimized like Karen Reed has been by the Norfolk County prosecutors. This is an excellent post someone posted in the community. And it corresponds to what an attorney said about last week's hearing, how Brennan was arguing something that he did not provide a motion for. He was making arguments in open court. He was essentially ambushing the defense team with his new arguments pertaining to the emails between Alan Jackson and Dr. Wolf from ARCA. So Brennan took it upon himself to spew lies in open court, and Judge Bev did not stop him once. And there was an attorney, I shared their comment last week, and that attorney said that this was like out of line, just it's essentially ambushing, which is not permitted in U.S. courts. You can't just come into court with new arguments you did not give the other party a heads up about, a notice about, via a motion, via declarations. So this post to me corresponds with that argument, which is a great argument. The post reads, "I just don't see how a person can get a fair trial with this level of bias and double standards. Recently, the judge ruled on a motion and said something was brought up by Jackson verbally, but she could only consider what was in the form of a written motion. Very shortly after that, Brennan lies to the court and she acts on it. She is now marking exhibits, which has implications regarding her intent, and all based on verbal misrepresentations by Brennan. No written motion. She isn't simply getting things on record, she's making exhibits. She didn't take a week for the defense to prepare out of courtesy. She took a week to prepare and expedite the transcript for her prosecution she's conducting from the bench. The very sidebar that she impounded is now disclosed in the interest of playing got ya with the defense. I'm going to be abstract for a minute. Feel free to scroll if you're a left brainer. I've seen evil in different forms throughout my lifetime. Abuse of power and authority in an attempt to steal someone's freedom is not new, and it's evil. I've seen it in other countries. It causes a sick, helpless feeling when you realize they know what they are doing. It isn't a misunderstanding or a mistake. It's deliberate. I cannot believe I am seeing this in our country. In the state known as the cradle of liberty. We are usually the good guys, or at least think we are. This didn't just happen to Karen overnight. This is a dry rot that has to have been there for an extended period of time that the Karen Reed case is exposing. I'm going to go to the next screen. It continues, I know I'm late to the party, but the one thing that gives me hope is the attorneys who clearly recognize it for what it is and are fighting on principle. They are taking risks to fight an injustice. Criminal defense attorneys, which is honestly so odd to me, with the exception of Alessi, who I believe is multifaceted. Someone at the federal level has to interview, not just for Karen, no offense to her, but in the interest of the Constitution. We are scarily close to that not being worthy. I think she meant not being worth anything in Norfolk County. So it's like I was saying just a moment ago that if you truly care about your liberties as a citizen in the U.S. or as a citizen in your state, I'm in Massachusetts. That's why I started covering this case. Or if you care about your constitutional rights, You might want to pay attention to what the state of Massachusetts is doing to Karen Reed. It's as if the Constitution doesn't exist in the state of Massachusetts. This is genius. It reads, I guess there was a date on the email. Mr. Brennan outright lied. Not speculation. And it's a photo of Robert Alessi's head cropped it onto a bodybuilder. And guys, a lot of people in the community intentionally spell Brennan's name Brennan because Brennan misspelled his own name in his own court document. So that's another forever inside joke. Okay, great photo, great post, Robert Alessi. This one really bothered me. I'm glad the person posted it, but the actual headline really bothered me. It reads, seriously, Channel 5 fake news. And apparently Channel 5 in Boston posted a headline that reads, Karen Reed's attorneys admit paying witness. And that's not even the pivotal point of what happened during the hearing yesterday. Like, they want to highlight this narrative that Hank Brennan started last Tuesday, over a week ago. They want to hone in on Hank Brennan's narrative, but they don't want to look at the facts. They don't want to look at the truth that Robert Alessi laid out for everybody, But it's like, if you watch the hearing, you may have noticed the moment in which Judge Bev asked the question. I'll play it for you right now.
But it's important to understand the facts behind this. The last discussion that any member of the defense team recalls having about any compensation at all was back in March, and it wasn't even any discussion about particulars, etc. It was just the defense feeling that they were going to be calling these witnesses. And there was the question of, is there going to be, and I had that as required in there for a reason, because they didn't know. It was just trying to understand this very unorthodox relationship because of the U.S. Attorney's Office, their constraints. The defense position is that there was absolutely no meeting of the minds that ARCA was going to be compensated by the defense. It wouldn't have been a surprise if that would have been demanded of the defense, but those were paused. Those discussions were paused. And again, that's the recollection of the defense. And to be clear, Your Honor, as Your Honor knows, I was not a participant in the first trial. I'm not speaking with firsthand knowledge on any of this, but I have conducted as thorough an investigation of these facts and marshaling of them as I think I can possibly do. So here's the punchline, Your Honor, with the invoice. Came out of the blue. It came out of the blue. It gets sent to Mr. Jackson's office in July. I can't reveal attorney-client communications, but I can tell you there's one person that was more shocked than most about the invoice coming in and the amount. So what happened? And this is, Your Honor, objective. These are recollections, information. The defense team called Mr. Adam Deitch at the U.S. Attorney's Office. What is this? Can we pay it? We supposed to pay it? I encourage Your Honor to communicate with the U.S. Attorney's Office about, did this conversation really occur? What was the substance of the conversation? Because, as I understand it, one of the questions of Mr. Deitch was, can we pay this? Are we going to be in violation of some expectation of yours? We want to do this the right thing. Mr. Deitch said, yes, you can pay. Why would the call go into Mr. Deitch if there was a prior agreement that they would be paid for anything? There would be no reason for the call.
Did they pay it?
Yes, that was just the point I was going to get to.
And when was that?
The best of my understanding was very close in time to when it occurred. So I understand the date of this invoice, the date of the invoice is July 12th. And I think I can get you the exact dates here. Mr. Jackson's firm, not Mr. Jackson, but a staff member, and I want to be careful of attorney-client communication, so I'm not going to talk about the subject, but communicated to Ms. Reed that this invoice had come in. And I believe that communication was toward the end of July, I'm going to roughly estimate the 24th. And then there was a communication, of course, with Mr. Deitch. And after Mr. Deitch said, yes, it's permissible to pay that, I believe the payment was made very shortly thereafter, maybe within a week.
When was that? Within a week, within that July 24th date?
Get you an exact answer?
I would like that.
Sure. I'm going to attempt to get an exact. If I can't, I think I can get a good approximation. Your Honor, I understand a check was sent to ARCA on July 25th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Like I was saying, with this headline, Karen Reed's attorneys admit paying witness. We saw how Judge Bev deliberately highlighted the part during the hearing in which she asked the question, did they pay it? Did the defense team pay it? Did the defense team pay for the ARCA experts after all? And it's like, but by that point, by the time Robert Alessi has explained the sequence of events, by the time Robert Alessi went through the timeline, it doesn't matter if the defense team paid the ARCA experts because they clearly didn't pay them before they testified. They clearly didn't have a plan to pay them. There was no communication about paying the ARCA experts. It happened after the fact. It happened at the end of July. Like what matters is what the defense can prove through their own documentation. And through their own documentation, they did not know that they were going to have to pay for the ARCA experts to testify on the stand. They didn't know they were going to receive an invoice. And for those of you who don't know what an invoice is, it's what a business sends you when they provide a service to you. And then you pay the amount that's on the invoice. It's a record-keeping thing, And so that's what ARCA did. They sent the defense team an invoice saying, you guys got to pay us because we testified for you. We testified per your request. But the point is that the testimony is not different from what the findings were. And that's what Robert Alessi is trying to stress. That the way Hank Brennan presented the emails last week was like as if Alan Jackson and Dr. Wolf were being sneaky, if you don't want me to talk about this, I won't. Like what the big picture is that the information Dr. Wolf provided on the stand pertaining to the accident reconstruction is the same information that was concluded through the federal investigation, you know, the FBI investigation of John O'Keefe's death. So Hank Brennan misrepresented the communications between the ARCA experts and the defense, and Hank Brennan also misrepresented the fact that the defense did have to put in some money after the fact, after the ARCA experts testified, which again the defense didn't know they were going to have to do. They received an invoice after the fact, and it was a shock to the defense team, right? And that's what matters. That's the truth. But to Judge Bev, she wants to highlight the point that they did pay. That Hank Brennan's argument last week is valid to Judge Bev because the defense team did pay the ARCA experts. Hank Brennan gets to mischaracterize, he gets to misrepresent, and then Judge Bev gets to fly off with his lies and do a dramatic reaction to the lies as if the defense did something egregious, you know? But and then like I said earlier, it's then up to the defense to clarify the record. Hank Brennan knows exactly what he's doing when he's spewing those lies. He leads with lies, and then the defense is left to pick up all the pieces and to clarify the record after the fact. Hank Brennan gets to confuse people who don't know any better. He gets to confuse people with lies, and then the defense has to do damage control after the fact. And Judge Bev isn't helping the defense. She is helping the prosecution when she deliberately chooses to highlight the fact that the defense team paid for the ARCA experts after all. Unbeknownst to them, they did not know that they were going to have to. You know, there's a difference. Hank Brennan is saying the defense team conspired with ARCA. The defense team knew they were going to have to pay them. The defense team was dictating what ARCA was going to say on the stand. And all of that was a lie. And it was a distraction from what's actually going on in the case. And guys, what is actually going on in the case is that Karen Read is winning. Karen Read is winning, and clearly Judge Bev has a problem with that, and Hank Brennan has a problem with that. And Judge Bev and Hank Brennan are working together to destroy the credibility here, to destroy the big picture here, which is that Karen Read did not do this. The federal government, the FBI, established that she did not do this, and the ARCA experts established that she did not do this. But notice how Judge Bev wants to ignore the results of that testing, and Hank Brennan, the prosecutor, wants to ignore the results of the ARCA testing and focus on an insignificant detail that the defense team was forced to pay for it after all, per the permission of the federal government. You know, like the federal government wasn't going to cover that bill for the defense team. It had to come out of the defense team's pocket. It's crazy that this is happening. It's crazy that this is reality in Massachusetts. Judge Bev is literally looking the other way. She is being told that Karen Read did not do this based off of a federal investigation conducted by ARCA, paid for by the FBI. They determined that Karen Read did not hit John O'Keefe with her SUV. And that investigation is still ongoing despite the misinformation we were told by Ted Daniels. Again, likely because of the prosecution fed it to him. So the big picture, the elephant in the room, is being ignored by Judge Bev because Judge Bev wants to focus on irrelevant, insignificant details that don't actually have anything to do with the fact that Karen Reed didn't do this. You know, if Judge Bev had that kind of discernment and scrutinizing for the prosecution, we wouldn't even be here. There would be no retrial coming up in April. Judge Bev picks and chooses what she wants to scrutinize, what she wants to discern. And it so often is about the defense when she's doing it, despite the prosecution's blatantly obvious lies. So, guys, I don't blame anybody for despising Judge Bev. I don't blame anybody who calls her bad names or makes mean signs about her out at the courthouse, or dresses up like her to make fun of her, or as a sign of her photo behind jail bars. I don't blame them one iota, because just look at her blatant bias. The prosecution can get away with lies after lies after lies. But the moment the prosecution misrepresents a fact about the defense team, Judge Bev is overdramatic about it. Like, OMG, I'm going to suspend the hearing. Grave concerns. I'm so gravely concerned here over this invoice. Like, fucking A, Judge Bev. You know? Again, I'll keep saying it. Hank Brennan and Judge Bev, the public is not going to be kind to you when this is all over. And I do not feel sorry for either of you whatsoever. And last but not least, I wanted to share this post. It's a great post for Karen Reed's birthday, which is today, February 26th. And it reads, "Today, this beauty turns 45. Unfortunately, Karen is spending her third, in parentheses, fourth, I stand corrected, fourth birthday defending herself, unable to fully embrace the joy that comes with turning 45. She has lost everything, but she still has faith, family, and all of you to love her through this difficult time. Please, if you can, go show her some love on her Defense Fund page. Even just $4.50, the price of a Hallmark card, it all adds up. Plus, she is guaranteed to read your message. I've sent Karen my virtual birthday card. Join me and let's make this birthday as special as it can be for her, even on the eve of trial, too." And the post provides links to Karen Reed's defense funds, the pay2.com/fundraiser/114014. They also provide the Venmo if you'd like to send Karen Reed donations for her defense fund. On Venmo, it's Karen-Reed-1. On PayPal, it's Karen Reed 921. And again, it's on the screen. I'll also leave those links in the description below. And it continues, "Birthday girl, we love you so much." And it's a beautiful photo of Karen Reed. So happy birthday, Karen. And we are all looking out for you in every way we can. You know, the world is watching, and we all know you're innocent. You are factually, scientifically innocent. Happy birthday. Thank you all for watching.